Hey, what is good, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best lenses for the Canon M50 Mark II. On the Mark I doesn't really matter. I'll be honest, I'm going to skim through all these lenses. If you want specific videos on each lens before you buy them, let me know in the comment section down below. You can find links to all these lenses in the description below as well. So without further ado, let's get into this list. Now, number 1 being the most all-round lens on this list is the Sigma 50mm f1.4 lens. This is probably just one of the best all-round lenses that money can buy. Everyone knows the nifty 50s are like super, it's just a perfect focal range for getting like great photos, great quality video as well. It's super fast, f1.4 aperture, which means it's capturing a ton of light. So you can get some crazy bokeh effects on this lens and get some really cinematic looking footage. This lens has autofocus, it's weather sealed. It has a 9-blade rounded diaphragm, so you can adjust the aperture, which is super useful for, you can create some different looking shots, but it just makes the lens even more versatile. And it's just an awesome all-round lens. Next, we have a slightly cheaper option being the Canon EF-M 22mm f2. Now this is another one of those really good all-round kind of lenses. It's 22mm, so it's pretty wide, so you can capture a lot with it. It's still f2, which means you're getting a ton of light. You still have autofocus, and this lens is just a lot more lightweight and compact, which is great for traveling. Once again, this 22mm, it's like a pancake type lens, so you can also get some crazy bokeh on this lens as well. It's great for photos and videos. It's small and lightweight. It has great focal length, excellent image quality, super sharp and accurate with autofocus, especially because it's a Canon lens on a Canon camera. However, sometimes it can create a little distortion, so it's not all perfect, but it's still a fabulous lens. Next, we have the Canon 11 to 22mm f4 to f5.6, which means it's not the fastest lens, but this lens has been voted the best lens for Canon M50 vlogging. It's 11mm, so it's super wide, and that's the reason it's best for vlogging, and its focal length allows it to cover the whole scene in a single frame with ease. It features an image stabilizer for the production of blur-free images. It nicely handles the camera shake that may disrupt the image integrity. It compensates for the unsteady hands vibrations by providing a reasonably sharp picture with precise focus, and the built-in stabilizer provides advanced performance even in low light spots and is quite helpful when creating video or vlogs. Yes, I did just read that off a review, but the man is not wrong, okay? The man is speaking straight facts, and that's why this lens is awesome for vlogging. I mean, it's just so versatile, it's so wide, which is awesome for vlogging, because if you're not able to look at yourself, which you are on the Canon M52, but if you're moving around, you might be focusing on other things. You're not going to miss anything happening in the background that the audience is going to be able to see. If you're setting it up and you're filming, you can zoom in and out of a really wide and narrow spots. So your studio setup can be ultra versatile as well. Again, the only problems is sometimes this lens can create a little bit of distortion around the edges because it is so wide. You don't get like a crazy fisheye effect, but it does create a little bit of distortion around the edges when you're in that 11mm. And it is a pretty big and heavy lens, which means it's not the best for transport, but it's also definitely not the worst. Now we have the Sigma 105mm f2.8, which has been rated the best macro lens for Canon M50 Mark II, and this is probably the best lens for like close-up shots. If you're maybe trying to have like a startup photography business and you're trying to take like some headshots or something, this is like a really good, it's not as like crazy good as like those massive L series lenses, but it also doesn't cost a few $1,000s. It's much more affordable, and the focal length allows you to keep a proper distance between you and your subjects. The lens also has implemented a new hypersonic motor run by ultrasonic waves. It gives quiet and high speed autofocus with stability. Now it doesn't have any image stabilization, but dust and splash resistant, it's fast and reliable, and it's overall just a great lens. Last but not least, we have the Canon EF-M 18 to 150mm f3.5 to 6.3, and this has been rated like just the overall best, just versatile lens, like the most versatile lens that you can buy for the price, of course. Not like the greatest lens of all time, but it's the most versatile. Like if you were just to take one lens, then this would be a great option. 18mm is super wide, and it goes all the way to 150mm, which is pretty zoomed in, so it gives you like a crazy spectrum of focal distances. It has a great autofocus system. This lens is pretty quick, but most importantly, it's pretty smooth while guiding to its autofocus positions, and it has a pretty robust image stabilization built into it as well, which means it's also pretty good for video shooting. And despite its crazy focal length, it's still pretty lightweight and compact. You can go up to 8.3 times zoom, has excellent crisp optics. However, it can create some soft edges and barrel distortion at 18 millimeters, and it does slightly dim corners when shooting raw. But either way guys, that's the end of the video. That's the top 5 best lenses for the Canon M50 Mark II. Let me know if you guys want another video on this, or if you want any videos on each lens in particular. I'd be happy to make it. But please leave a like, subscribe, and I'm out. See ya.